Hello, this is Charlene. We're going to solve another absolute value equation. Our equation says negative 51 is equal to 3 minus the absolute value of 6 minus 12r. So our first rule says that we are going to isolate the absolute value. So that is this part right here. We're going to isolate this and get it all by itself on one side of the equal sign. There is the equal sign. And then after we do that, that will set us up to do part number 2. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get rid of this 3 right here. Well, there's technically an invisible plus sign in front of the 3. So how do I undo a plus 3? Well, I'm going to do a subtract 3 on both sides of the equal sign. So these two will cancel out. I got negative 51 minus 3. If I start negative, I go more negative, I get even bigger negative. So it's going to be negative 54, and that's going to be equal to negative. Now just don't forget, this negative is still here. So I got to bring it down right there. And it's going to be negative absolute value of 6 minus 12r. Let's make that a little bit longer. 12r. And now the only thing that I need to remove from the absolute value side of the equation, which is on the right side, is that negative. So how do I undo that negative? Well, essentially, I just need to divide both sides by negative 1. Or you could multiply both sides by negative 1. Either one would get rid of that negative. So these are going to cancel out. And this negative is going to cancel with that negative, turning it into a positive. So this is going to be a positive 54 is equal to the absolute value of 6 minus 12r. So at that point, I have my absolute value isolated by itself on one side of the equal sign. So now I'm going to set it up to solve it twice. That is this little piece of my instructions up here. Work it out twice. So the first way I'm going to set it up is 6 minus 12r is equal to a positive 54. And the second way I will set it up, just working it out twice, is 6 minus 12r is equal to negative 54. So this is how we set it up to work it out twice. Okay, so at this point, I just use my simple order of operations rules to solve for the r. So I'm going to do minus 6 on both sides. Minus 6, minus 6. That way these two 6's cancel out. But like I said, I've got this little minus sign in front of that 12. So don't forget that minus sign. So it's still negative 12r. And that's going to be equal to 54 minus 6, which I think is going to be 48. And then how do I undo this negative 12 that is being multiplied? It's being multiplied times the r. If it's being multiplied, I want to undo it with division. So I'm going to divide out the 12 on both sides. So this negative 12 cancels with that negative 12, and that leaves me with r is equal to 48 divided by negative 12, which is negative 4. So we will be testing this in just a few minutes to see if it is a valid solution for our absolute value equation. So now let's go down here and work on the second one here. Again, I want to subtract the 6 because there is an invisible plus sign right there. So if I subtract 6 on one side, I have to subtract 6 on the other side to keep it balanced and equal. These two cancel each other out. Negative 12r is equal to negative 54 minus 6. I start negative, I go more negative. That means I'm going to get negative 60, even bigger negative. Okay, then at that point, I can divide out that negative 12. So I can go divide both sides by the negative 12, negative 12. So these two cancel out, and I'm left with r is equal to negative 60 divided by negative 12. Negatives cancel each other out. It turns into a positive 5. I am now going to test both of my potential answers to see if they are actually valid. This is how we test to see if we have extraneous solutions. Okay, so I'm going to plug this back into my original equation. My original equation said negative 51 was equal to 3 minus absolute value of 6 minus 12 times the r. Well, the first one says r is equal to negative 4, so that's where I'm going to put my negative 4 and then close my absolute value sign. Okay, and I just keep using my algebra, my order of operations, and I keep working it down to see if it actually is valid. So negative 51 is equal to 3 minus, now I need to figure out all this stuff inside the absolute value. Okay, so 12 times the negative 4, and actually it'd be like negative 12 times a negative 4 would be a positive 48, and a positive 48 plus the 6, and if we want to slow that down just in case, 6 be plus 48, because I would do the multiplication first. And then at that point, negative 51 is equal to 3 minus 48 plus 6 is what, 54? 54. And then I got negative 51 is equal to 3. And the absolute value of a 54 is 54. And my final answer says negative 51 is equal to, and 3 minus 54 is indeed negative 51. So this is absolutely a good answer because negative 51 is equal to negative 51. Okay, so now let's try the second equation. My answer for the second part of working it out twice was r equals 5. So I'm going to work it out with a 5 in place of the r. So negative 55 equals 3 minus absolute value of 6 minus 12. And that's an absolute value, so I'll make sure that that's clear. And 5 is what r is equal to. An absolute value sign. Okay, keep working it down. Equals 3. Then I need to complete everything inside the absolute value sign. So I got 12, negative 12 times 5 would be negative 60, so it'd be 6 minus 60. And negative 51 is equal to 3. Now what is 6 minus 60? 6 minus 60 is going to be a negative 54, negative 54. And negative 51 is equal to 3. Now I'm going to write what is the absolute value of negative 54? Well, it is a positive 54. So then 3 minus 54 is indeed equal to negative 51. And those two things are equal. Negative 51 is equal to negative 51. So that means that my second solution is also valid, and I do not have any extraneous solutions. Okay, hope that helps you understand a little bit better how to go through this process, and you just need to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and we'll see you again next time you need some math help. Okay, bye-bye.